And we are back, 234, the correct episode number, Better on Draft podcast. My cohorts were not able to hear me, but you guys were, which is perfectly fine. Welcome back, 234, Better on Draft podcast. Thank you so much again, Grand Armory, for stopping by, telling us a little bit about their story, a little bit about the brewing process, and I learned about juicy IPAs today, so I'm excited. Of course, you can get a lot of that Grand Armory stuff over at Zatuna Liquor over in Rochester Hills, just south of M59 on Rochester Road. Yep, that's it. They got a brand new sign if you guys haven't seen, so you could definitely see it. It is easily one of the best places to go shopping and one of the worst places to exit. If you've ever tried to exit south onto Rochester Road there, just prepare yourself to stay for a while. But as always, segment 2.
Here is Robert with the beer news.
Uh-oh. Segment 2 with Robert News. What's up?
Hey, what's going on? Holy shit, that scotch is hard.
What the? What is happening right now?
That's tenacity.
Man, who are you just trying to impersonate?
That tenacity stuff did not fuck around. It was easily, though, some of the best distilled beer I've ever had. And oddly enough, I've had a lot of distilled beer.
Guy just with us?
Woo, that's an ass whooping. That's an ass whooping. That's grandma telling me to go in the backyard and get the switch ass whooping. Holy fuck. All right. Okay.
So, Robert, the news.
The news, as I am cracking open a Black is Beautiful from Fremont that I got courtesy of Tavor. See, I'm not mad at Tavor because I did get this, but I'm mad.
But you are at the same time.
Yeah, I know. Actually, with this first one, I think we're going to play a little bit of a game here because I want to see you guys kind of guess these suckers. So, alcohol.org, which I did not know that this was actually a site. They did a breakdown recently of each state's looking at how many beers it takes for someone to feel drunk. Essentially, they were looking at beer tolerance and we're trying to figure out how many it took per state. So I have this a little bit broken down, kind of going to go in order. Actually, I'm just going to go to order and based on my screen going clockwise. Hopefully you can tell me either one of the top 10 or the bottom 5. We won't go too far into the list, just kind of to go around. So I guess based on what I have on the screen, I'm going to start with Ken.
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin is number 3 with an average of 3.88 beers.
To get you drunk.
That's
not even a pitcher.
That's kind of sad.
That's what I drink in the first game of bowling.
I was going to say, I feel like I may have seen this. I feel like Michigan's in the top there somewhere, so I'm going to go with that.
Michigan is number 2.
Mm-hmm. I did see this.
At 4.02.
4 beers.
That's still not a pitcher.
That's like a 40.
Wait, what was that, Wendy?
So I am still a little obsessed with toppling Goliath, so I would like to know Iowa.
Iowa is somewhere in the middle. Is not in the top 10 or the bottom 5.
Mm-hmm.
Nick.
Texas.
Texas is not in the top 10 or the bottom 5.
Really?
No, they are not.
Because that's all they do is drink.
I'm gonna stick to the Midwest, and I'm gonna go Minnesota.
Minnesota is in neither list.
Damn!
Wow. Okay.
They are not. Minnesota. Where did that? I lost the list here. I have to bring up the list.
Dan can win this game we just made up by just guessing one of the states.
So we got to do top 10 or bottom 5.
Yeah.
You want to just go with
where do
Utah?
people easily get drunk at? That's what I'm trying to figure out here to get the bottom. Let's go something stupid. So bottom would be it takes
South
the fewest
Dakota?
like one beer. It's
That it takes the least amount of beers to feel drunk.
Let's go Dreckerland. We talked about that. North Dakota.
North Dakota is in neither list.
Damn.
Neither.
I have a feeling Washington is in the top 10.
I'm curious about the bottom 5.
I haven't gotten a chance to guess again yet.
Well, you guys lost in the first round.
You just took my guess.
We're just going.
Let Wendy and I do one more.
All right.
Come on.
Wendy.
You're up, Wendy.
Well, now I want to do California since somebody took my other guess.
California is in the bottom 5. They're at 2.96.
They drink 2 Milwaukee's Best and are done.
They drink
all the wine.
Wine spritzers.
All right, one more for Nick.
Vodka.
I'm going to go stupid as well. I'm going to go Utah.
Utah is in the top 10.
Wow.
What?
Utah, I know, of all places that typically have 3.2s, they are 6th at 3.84.
Trust me, you spend enough time in Utah.
At a place in Utah.
They drink those 3.2s, but they just drink a lot of them.
You can only get like 2 beers at a time when you're at a restaurant in Utah.
Right. So going in order, going for the bottom 5, going from the top of that list to last place, California 2.96, Montana 2.92, Arkansas 2.90, Idaho 2.75, and at 2.71, Hawaii.
Jesus, people in Utah, like, you want to get scary. You're getting drunk off 2 beers while you're carrying like AR-15s and like in Idaho. Walking around carrying AR-15s and drunk off of 2 beers, that's kind of scary.
I feel like those surfer dudes drink a lot more than 2 beers to get drunk.
In California?
No, they smoke 2 joints in the morning and they smoke 2 joints at night.
So here
I don't think they would drink 2.
Yeah. So here's the top 10 going from 10 to 1.
I have a feeling Alaska's in there.
I almost guessed that.
10th at 3.74, Connecticut. Number 9.
I'd drink if I was there too.
Number 9 at 3.72 is Vermont. 8 at 3.75 is South Dakota. 7 at 3.82 is Pennsylvania. We already had 6 at Utah, 3.84. 5th at 3.87 is Missouri. 4th at 3.88 is Maine. 3rd at 3.88, Wisconsin. 2nd at 4.02, Michigan. And number 1 at 4.04 is Arizona.
Yeah, we drink a lot. I thought about that. It's like, we probably need like 12 beers to be drunk here.
It's because they sweat it all out as soon as they start drinking it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the most of the state isn't hot though, so who the hell knows?
So it's interesting. They have another list on here, which actually I did not see until I just scrolled down. That they have another list of the percentage of each state that feels drunk after 1 beer.
Oh
and
boy!
Michigan is on there at 12%. Arizona at 14%. The highest that's on here.
Damn
it
kids.
looks to be, interestingly enough, like despite the fact that it wasn't in the top 10, that it looks like it's Montana at 38%.
Montana. But you're saying that that more than 1 out of every 3 people feel drunk after 1 beer in the state of Montana?
According to people who at least probably took this survey, that just seems to be how it goes.
You know, a fun fact about Arizona, about till 10, 15 years ago, you could drink and drive legally in Arizona. That's down the freeway. So that's kind of surprising.
Really scary.
And the thing is, they are not the only state that's in that 30% range. I mean, there is the likes of Hawaii, Idaho, obviously Montana, and Tennessee. That all of those states are in there at 30% or higher that people feel drunk after 1 beer.
My God.
I guess it depends on the beer.
I mean, if everybody's having, like, I know there's not a lot of people, anybody who outside of Michigan hears this, but anybody who drinks, like, Dragon's Milk Triple Mash, and that's a 17% beer that comes in a 12-ounce bottle. there are more than enough people who are going to feel drunk after drinking that one bottle.
Yeah,
so,
let's go knock back a worldwide stout or something too.
I knocked back my last 3 cans of Black Excellence last night, and I felt it this morning.
Oh, I'm sure you did. There's like 8%.
I mean, that's the one thing that I think is missing from this list is there's nothing that is basically saying, what ABV, like an average ABV of the beer that you're drinking that is making you feel drunk after one. It's a bit, I guess for me, it feels a bit misleading.
It's gotta be just after how many beers, and I think everyone understands what one drink is. I don't think anyone's saying, "Oh, I had 120, and that now I'm drunk, so that I've only had one." Everyone knows that's 4 drinks or whatever.
You know what? It's on the.
I don't think everybody knows
I just saw this. It says it's based on typical beers, 4.5% ABV in one sitting.
Right.
So I just drank a Bud Light and I'm drunk. Apparently, is what this is saying.
Apparently, they never went to City Club and ordered by the pitcher.
Apparently not. Holy crap.
Rob, what's another news article?
So another one we had, I wanted to do that one because this one I think is a little bit bigger. So there's some big news that it came out of Minnesota this week about Surly Brewing and the announcement that they were closing their beer hall permanently, laying off about 100 employees beginning on November 2nd of this year. From Surly's statement regarding the closing, they said, "We ran all the numbers, we looked at all the possibilities, but try as we might to find a way to keep the doors open and our team employed. The writing was on the wall. There is no longer a way forward for the beer hall. Since the start of the pandemic, beer hall revenues are down 82% compared with the same period last year. If the beer hall remained open, Surly would lose at least another $750,000 this winter. A drastic change was needed to stabilize the company and ensure the continued operations of our core business, which they say is brewing." Now, coincidentally enough, there is a union group that's out there called Unite Here Local 17, which is Minnesota's hospitality union. They put out a statement on Facebook saying that today we feel Surly Brewing Company took disgusting and potentially illegal actions to permanently lay off its entire hospitality staff starting November 2nd. We feel this is clear retaliation for them forming a union, which kind of goes into the next part, was that the workers were looking to form a union and had notified Surly's management about wanting to form a union. This next piece, I will kind of preface with saying that I don't know if this person actually works for worked for Surly or knew somebody who did that had this information. But basically, this person said that in Surly making this move, that this was absolutely disgusting treatment of their front of house beer hall employees that has been which has been happening for years, including and not limited to illegal tip pooling run by management, removal of health insurance for the front of house beer hall employees only right before Christmas, and allowing abusers to continue to work there and laughing in the faces of people who were scared about their quality of life without insurance. Some of this seems to be a bit true because another article I ran into that said that when the beer hall opened in June or reopened in June, that the tip line was removed from any credit card bills that were done while the place was open. One of the bartenders, Megan Caswell, had said that while the wages were increased, her total wages had dropped as low as 40% without any of the tips coming in, and did not have any health insurance while working there. Obviously, that kind of goes into a whole federal thing, probably about the number of hours that she worked. So, there could be something there, but, I'm not going to discount the fact that she didn't have any damn health insurance. Kind of going back to Surly's statement, they addressed this in their statement, saying the timing of this announcement is not ideal. And on Monday, this past Monday, some hospitality employees notified them of their intent to unionize. They respect their decision to turn to an outside organization for representation and will continue to dialogue. But that does not change the fact that our plans to close the beer hall were put in place weeks ago with the announcement planned for this week. The one thing, I guess, the couple things that I'm wondering about is in terms of this hospitality business, and it's you tend to hear it from other people that are across this country that hospitality is the number one source of income for employees of businesses in this country. And in working in a craft beer establishment, obviously Surly is a big establishment, but then you have the smaller establishments as well, that they, in essence, should have the right to be able to unionize. But with Surly making this move, does it seem a bit too convenient that they decided to bring out this move only, it seems like, a day to a day and a half after the announcement was, or the notification was given to them that these employees want to unionize to try and make their lives better?
So I'm going to give a hot take on this. Let me hit this, and you guys can come back with the negative stuff.
Do it.
It's a dick move that Surly did this, but it's also 100% within the law, and it's 100% in their right to do this. There are 49 states that are at will, and this is not the first time I've been personally at a company where people have been fired for trying to unionize. It is 100% within their right and 100% within the law for them to do that.
I will say, Dan, I'm not going to say anything. No, I mean, at will employment, yes. I work for an at will employee. Oh,
we all do. Unless you're in North Dakota, you work for an at will employer.
Dan wasn't saying like that's what the law is. Dan didn't necessarily say.
I'm saying they're within their rights and they didn't break the law with doing this. It's a dick move, but they did not do anything that puts them in the wrong legal way.
I just wanted to clarify what you were saying because your take was very hot.
Yeah, I just want to put that out there because I know I'm going to bring the different view on this. I think it's bad, but because I think go ahead, Nick.
I was going to say it's very, very ill-timed, especially with the current climate that we're in right now, where people are. Now, you see, this is where I'm kind of 50-50. I mean, about the whole thing. Yes, it sucks that they all got fired. However, you hit the point, you hit it on the head, at will employment. No one is forcing you to work there. You want to work there, you get paid, you do the job that you're supposed to do. I work, obviously, for an at will employer. If there was a discussion to unionize my job position, which I will say it has come up in the past, long before me, that there could be, retribution. I don't know. Do I see the need for it? No. I'm pretty comfortable with where I'm at right now. But I think, given the timing, I think that's what most of this is. It's the timing of it, where people are suffering to put food on the table in some regards. You got, people really having a hard time trying to, make an honest living right now. Granted that there's, I think I saw the jobs report came out. They added over 1.3 million jobs or something like that. I don't know. I think just the timing of it all is just what makes this most the newsworthy piece. That's just my opinion.
Wendy, do you have any opinions?
Oh, I have lots of opinions.
Ooh, let's hear them.
So I'm going to be honest with you guys. I am not a 100% union supporter. I think unions have their time and their place. I don't think that the Surly employees were wrong in trying to unionize because I don't know their situation. But I also don't know what the Surly situation was before they tried to unionize. We're in a time right now where we're watching breweries fold left and right. So how can we 100% say that Surly did this as a response to their union request
versus the business
when we're watching other breweries fold left? It could very well be that Surly was literally just trying to save their business. So that's just my opinion. I don't know. I mean, it does, the timing definitely does suck, but I can't say either way based on what we're getting in the news, whether it is because of the union thing.
There's oh, go on, Nick.
I was gonna say, I mean, that's a very, very valid point. I saw before the show started, I saw an article about local businesses to here, and I'm not talking about just craft beer places. I'm talking about just regular run of the mill businesses like a dry cleaners that's really, really popular in Clawson. And Clawson, for those of you not in the Metro Detroit area, Clawson is probably about a good 20 to 30 minutes north of downtown Detroit.
30 bars left in Clawson?
Oh, there's tons of bars still left in Clawson. There's
how do they fit in 2 square blocks?
I don't know, but they somehow do it. The tiny little city that it is. We're seeing businesses, not craft beer related, starting to go under, folding or going under pressure to try and stay open while we ride this pandemic out. We don't know what's going to happen in 6 months. So, and like you said, Wendy, we don't know the financial story, but with Surly, we don't, and we will never know because it's a private business. They're not obligated to share their financials with anybody. Nope. They can say kiss my ass, and they're like, okay, you're legally within your rights to not share it. So it's just a very shitty situation that unfortunately, however many people Rob said lost their jobs, was it close to 100?
Yeah, it's about 100. I think it might have been about 110.
About 110 people lost their jobs as they were trying to unionize, and everyone is within their rights to unionize. It's just, they just did this at the wrong time, and it's just not looking good for.
And I think they had some concerns to do it because you're talking about this time where they reopened the beer hall in June, and they're concerned about their safety in having to deal with the coronavirus and with not having, I mean, at least for Megan, that not having any health insurance. I don't know how many other employees there had health insurance, but for what we've seen in the news about people and what the hospital bills look like when they have coronavirus, there's a whole lot of people who are not going to be able to afford dealing with the care in a hospital if they catch this. And there's a bit that concern. So, yeah, I kind of see it that same way, too, that I'm looking at it both ends, that there's a lot of people that are out there that are concerned about having the money to live off of and have the insurance that I'm going to be taken care of health-wise should I end up in the hospital. And I think that's what these people were fighting for. And we don't know Surly's end, that we don't know they couldn't afford it. So that's what this is the move that they had to make.
So now we're going to now is this going to open a dialogue or a debate as to whether all employers supply some sort of health insurance? I mean,
well, that's already in place.
All right,
the political.
I don't know.
I've been letting you guys chat. There's definitely a few things.
So I do want to say that I have been at companies that I've worked at union companies. I've worked at companies that have tried to unionize. I have worked at companies that are not union. So I think all of them have had their benefits and their downfalls. But one of the part of the process of unionizing is that you have to get a certain percentage of the employees on board. So when they submitted this letter, was it that they wanted to unionize or that they already had that support?
It's just that they wanted to unionize. From what I've read, I don't know how much of the support that they had of those employees. So I really couldn't tell you, but I would have to gather that they had a pretty sizable majority for Surly to basically permanently lay off everybody. But then again, that still goes back.
Surly saying that didn't matter.
Right. We don't have the numbers from Surly to basically say that, that they had the ability to support themselves and those employees. We don't know. But Ken, you had something.
I have a lot of things. I know where Dan was going, and I'll bring it up real quick because again, we don't talk partisan politics here. But there is if you guys can recall back during the, I believe it was the Obama-Romney debates, the 29 and 49s. Which is a term used for the Obamacare, where anyone that worked over 30 hours was supposed to receive health care, and any company that had over 50 or over employees had to offer health care. Now, we're talking 100 plus employees. Obviously, I'm assuming a lot of them are working near or at full time. So their inability to provide health care, I don't know those very, very specific things about Surly, but they should have health care there, especially even if they offshoot their restaurant separate LLC from their brew house system, because obviously the brew house system is going to have, people who are insured or more people working. With that in mind, are they, making sure people that are, working less than 30 hours so they don't have to give health insurance? There's a lot of ifs as to why they didn't give health insurance, or they just didn't do it, which, could potentially be illegal to not offer it in the first place. With that in mind, going back to the business end, the numbers in regards to how much money restaurants are losing, working for a former payment processor that was a point of sale, 85 to 90% restaurants were down. That's why they were closed in the first place. When you lose 90% and it's extrapolated to a company that's as big as Surly is, you're talking 7-figure loss easy for that time period. That's, you still got to upkeep the place. You still got to pay rent. You're still trying to make money. You're still trying to make beer. You're still trying to sell beer. So there's a lot of things that go on with that. Now, let's be smart here. If their intent to make a union was done 2 days before they decided to close, Surly knew they were trying to make a union before. Like someone slipped, someone told management, someone told someone, like that. So it got to somewhere. Now, if you're just going the full nuclear option of my employees want to unionize, I'm just going to shut the whole shit down, doesn't seem like a good idea in my eyes, because you can easily adjust your rates, because again, you have people who are really, really pro-union who will purposely shop at your place because it is a union. So you will be able to adjust your rates and be like, hey, we're paying. Now, the big thing too is that we have to think they removed the tip line, therefore now they're paying their employees the minimum wage or higher. So they're not paying $2.50. I'm making these numbers up. I don't know Minnesota numbers, so just, bear with me. They're not paying $2.50 an hour. They're paying $9 an hour or more, hopefully. Jesus, I hope. So they're not paying the tips. Now, there are restaurants here in Michigan that do that, like B Nectar over in Ferndale. Or if you go to Seattle, where everything is a 20% surcharge. You go to a restaurant in Seattle.
$9.86 in Minnesota.
$9.86. So you go to a restaurant in Seattle, you're paying a 20% surcharge, period. So whether that's just, it's a surcharge to the restaurant pays a $15 plus minimum wage. Yes, you can tip on top of that, but again, it depends on the restaurant too. So I'm trying to bring all the information to the center, where I don't think Surly would just implode their entire business just because of a union relationship. Now, unions in the hospitality industry are something that's a little bit more newer, because they haven't had the numbers to unionize. Many restaurants don't have that amount of people just to union. So, again, there's going to be a lot of misinformation. But me, Ken, personally, and yes, I run Better on Draft. I own the media company, so this is as the media company too. Not for the other 4 hosts here. I just cannot fathom them going full nuclear just to say fuck you to a union. If there was money to be made, they would make money. And that's how
especially right now.
Yeah.
Especially right now. Yep.
You could blow it up in 8 months. You could just be like, all right, well, we're not making money with the union, or not say with the union. That's, obviously you're saying that you don't want to say the secrets out loud, but obviously we're not making money. We're going to close up shop. And at that point you can go through, and because all of your numbers, a company like Surly hopefully isn't burning books. You can look at the numbers and tell your staff, hey, this is how much money we made last year. This is how much money we made this year.
Did you, hold on. Did you say you hope they're not burning books?
Yeah.
Like, what are you comparing them to right now?
I mean, there's big companies that burn their sales.
Okay, never mind. I thought you were referencing. Never mind. Go ahead.
Do you think this is Fahrenheit 451, bro?
No. Go ahead. I'll tell you off. I'll tell you off. What I thought you were referencing.
No, I wasn't referencing anyone. I'm just saying, I was saying they're too big to do it, and then I realized no company's too big to do it. Enron. So again, I think everything just kind of happened, but in the way that we are now with the coronavirus, with people not going out shopping, with tourism down, these companies, I'm shocked that there's a lot of we do not have as many closings as we have had in Michigan, and we've had plenty. Big Cat, off the top of my head, that's the only one I could think of. I know I saw a few of them. I know we're going to see them in 6 months when coronavirus is done and we're still affecting from it. But when you lose an entire season of tourism, like some of these up north breweries aren't going to make it. And it sucks. But in the same token, who wants to go to Minnesota?
I mean, that coffee beer though.
I love Surly beer, and that's not going to stop me from drinking Surly beer, because I personally do not think this was an anti-union thing, and I am a pro-union person, which is weird because I'm also pro free market. But I think that's a whole other topic, whole other thing. Let's go back to Surly.
That's another.
They have their place. They have their place.
I agree, and I think the hospitality is a place that they need to be in. Personally, having worked in the industry for as long as I did. Rob, do we have anything nice to kind of wrap this up before we go to a break? Because that was I wanted to make sure y'all.
But to say, I need to get some chips and salsa because my football draft just started. So
nice.
Oh, geez.
I mean, if Wendy wants to talk about that retirement home.
Oh my gosh! I don't have all the information about the retirement home anymore. It's been 3 weeks.
Caught off guard.
What? I got a little bit here. But I mean, if you got something,
you give the information on that, and then I'll tell you my personal story.
Okay, so basically, there was a nifty idea that was going on in Austin, Texas, where there was a retirement home that was brewing beer. This Palmer Woods. Assisted living facility became I guess you could say, a new part of the brewing scene and the beer scene with their Palmer Woods Beer Works, and their enrichment director Amy Castillas inherited a program from a previous maintenance director who brought beer making equipment to the facility. I mean, it's a very small system, making anywhere from 24 to 48 bottles at a time. But so far, they've made things from a cider to an IPA to a wit to an oatmeal stout, which is very interesting for a retirement / assisted living facility to have a program where they are making beer. And I kind of wonder if this could be something where it could be a start of just senior citizen homes and senior citizens just getting into the craft beer craze, where they've lived through quite a few times where they don't live in a time right now where I think they really care about craft beer. But it's very interesting to see them do that. And I kind of wonder if this is something that can kind of spread to retirement homes and assisted living facilities across the country, where you give an activity for these senior citizens to be able to participate in creating something like craft beer, which I know with Wendy, your grandma did help create a particular craft beer, which I have in front of me right now.
Fantastic.
Which is the Gretchen Witt beer.
It's really good.
Wendy, her grandma, and Detroit Divas went and created at Eastern Market Brewing Company.
So one of the things that I constantly have to do with my grandma is find things for her to do. Because if she sits in front of the TV all day, her mind kind of goes wonky and she can't remember things. So we're always looking for activities for her to do. Her sister, who is 5 years older than her, every time I talk to her, talks to me about beer. Because she knows I like it. She likes to try it. She's like, where can I go around me to get new different beers? So when I saw that article, I was really excited about it. But, oh my God, that's something awesome that these people who are normally just sitting there or trying to find things to do, playing bingo or whatever at their home, they have something to do. So then I got the call from Eastern Market Brewing for the Detroit Draft Divas to go and make this beer. And it just kind of happened that my grandma didn't have a caregiver that day. So I was like, Grandma, do you want to go and make some beer with me? Grandma doesn't like beer. But she was all about that beering process. Making it, she was climbing up on the ladders, wanting to see in the tank. She was asking what was going on. Like, I'm like literally like lifting her up, trying to keep her from falling down the ladder because she wanted to peer in the tank to see what was happening. Like, it's
amazing.
It literally stimulated her, and she was like super excited. She wanted to know what was happening. She was telling everybody that was there about her dad who used to brew beer in the bathtub, you know, like during the Depression, like stuff like that. Like it really like brought her out, and she's talked about it with a lot of people. She was excited to try a couple of different beers, even though she doesn't like them. So I think it's an amazing process, and I hope that more senior citizens home will try this because people like beer, and just because you're 90 doesn't mean you don't like beer anymore. And they like trying new things.
My grandma drank beer until she was about 95, 96, so I totally get it.
They like trying new things.
Something like that, does that make you want to try and see about getting some sort of home system to brew with her?
Oh my God, yes. I think she would be out there with me in the garage trying to figure out how to make this work. I'm sure of it. She'd be telling me how to do it better, I'm sure.
All right. We are going to go do a quick 5-minute break, grab another drink. We're going to play a short little game tonight, and we will be right back with the Better on Draft podcast.